Hey man, all right, we're live. We're live now.
Jason, what's up, dude?
Hi.
We made it.
We made it, man.
We're back, baby.
Yeah, we are back. Uh how you been, man? Well, I haven't really I think last time we did this was about a year ago.
Has it been a
Um
year? I was trying to remember when was the last time we sat down because I was like, it's coming out soon. The album's coming, and
yeah.
I
And
didn't
now we're
remember what it
here.
was.
Now we're here.
Yeah,
The album's
now we
out.
made it. Yeah, we
It's
made it.
out. So how this whole thing come together? I'm sure it's been quite the journey.
It has. Honestly, just getting it out. Money's been the main thing, which is like getting it mastered and stuff. I had a guy in Southern California who he's mastered a ton of albums of like other artists that I really respect and look up to. And so I was like, I want this guy to master it. Then I know it's gonna sound good and stuff. But I had to
Hmm.
get the money set aside to get that to happen and all that. So it just took a minute to, really be able to have the cash to put into it. But got there, got it paid, got it done, and then all the promo and all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah,
yeah,
man.
made it.
Yeah. How long have you been writing it?
The album started. This is an album that I had the idea for like in 2011 or 2012. So I kind of started like the foundation of it. A couple of the songs I began writing around that time. Um, and then those couple of songs have evolved greatly over since
Hmm.
then. And then since moving to California and stuff, I wrote a handful of new songs that went onto the album as well. So it's been a long time in the making.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, there was one I wanted to bring up. So is it more, I mean, would you say it's more of like is like a concept album, or is it just things throughout your life that are all just kind of mixed
Hmm.
together to like display like, hey, this is me?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's necessarily a concept album per se, but a lot of it does deal with just concepts that I've kind of wrestled with over the past 5 years, from just like church and searching for God and what even having faith in a higher power looks like, and kind of challenging some of the beliefs that I grew up with. So like there's some of that in there. There's some ideas about losing loved ones. I had family members pass away in the past couple of years. There's some stuff about losing friendships and then moving across the country and having to maintain relationships at a long distance. And so there's just like a lot of weird new dynamics and stuff like that that I've kind of wrestled with over the past couple of years. And so the album kind of walks through a chronological order of all the different things that have kind of been bouncing around in my head.
Yeah, I like that. That it reminds me, a buddy of mine, he's been on here a couple times, Kyle Colby. His
Yeah.
first full-length album was called Coping, and it was just about like him like coping with certain things in his life kind of throughout the years leading up to the album release. So it sounds kind of like that. I mean, but more so you're just wrestling with different life events and
Yeah.
searching for kind of
Yeah. And that's kind of the
answers.
stuff that's the stuff that I've always been drawn to listening to as well. Is like I've never been drawn to like the pop ideas of going to a club and getting a girl or country stuff or riding my truck. Like that's never been my flow. Like I
Yeah,
like
everything that we can't relate to. Yeah.
but I like the ideas of like people that are just like contemplating their existence or like a hard dynamic in a relationship and stuff because that kind of stuff I can relate to.
Mhm.
And sometimes another artist's perspective on something can like refresh my perspective on it, give me a different way of looking at it, that sort of thing. So that's kind of what I wanted to do with this album is offer a new perspective, a new way of looking at things, some encouragement if you're going through something, or somebody to feel the same way with.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds more like your goal was to have music that is relatable, but also things are just more real and raw. Where it's not so much focused like some of those songs in the club. I've actually never been to a club, but like those type of
Oh,
songs
you
where
gotta
it's
go,
like
you
all
gotta
about
go
the
to the
beat.
club.
And I think, you know what, looking back, I may have gone into one now, and I think I just walked in with my friends and I'm like, all right, and we just left. Like it's just not my vibe really.
Yep, that's fair.
Um, okay, yeah, there were some tracks in there. I mean, some that really stand out to me. Um, Talk to me about, so why did you choose the opening track that you did? Was it Solitude was the opening track?
Solitude was that that whole song. A couple of these I wrote in 2020 and 2021, like during the shutdown and stuff. So Solitude was one of those during 2020 that was like the whole world was rioting, or like there were riots in the country, and like everybody just like going at it politically and biting each other's heads off, and that kind of stuff. So it's kind of a song about just like kind of feeling trapped, and
Yeah.
and everybody's just like feeling so hostile and that sort of thing. And so uh yeah,
Kind of
that's where that one came
stands the
from.
test of time because we're still in that same like
Yeah,
position
yeah,
here.
in some ways I think, yeah, it's kind of timeless, because there's always hostility in humanity, and there's always people fighting about stuff, and uh so that, yeah.
Why not? I
Yeah.
dig it. I dig it. We don't really have to do like a track by track breakdown. I mean, there was some things like something that did stand out to me. You included the voicemail of your grandmother.
Yeah,
What sparked that idea?
that that kind of leads into the song that's called Space. When I was writing it and stuff, it was called Good at Calling, but it's about how I'm not good at calling, and like that like weirdness of like keeping up with family and stuff long distances, and um like the subtle pressures there are from families to like stay in touch, and uh my grandmother was one of those like constant pressures of a relationship that was like hard to maintain long distance, and so it kind of like leaned into that. And she's passed away since then. But it's like a tricky thing, because I care about these relationships and all of that, but it's like it's so hard to maintain it when it's not like right in front of me. It's not in my everyday life.
Yeah.
So it's kind of what that's about. Yeah.
Was she kind of the one that would try to, and it could be like a generational thing, but like just try to mold and make sure, hey, family's all over the place, but let's make sure like checking in on each other and things like that.
Uh, yeah, a little bit. And I mean, I mean, it's not even like just her. Like I mean, I use that voicemail as uh, more of like an overarching way to encapsulate that pressure that I have from a lot of different relationships long term or long
Okay.
distance. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, because
So,
you don't have any it's just you and the wifey out there
yep,
in Cali. Yeah.
yep, just the two of us. Yeah.
Just the two of us.
So it's, yeah,
Just the
it's
two
a
of
tricky thing.
us. Yeah. Okay.
We can
I
make
could
it
see
if
that.
we try.
It's a good song. I haven't listened to it in years, but it's a classic one. Yeah, that
So
makes
good.
sense. I mean, it reminded me, so I have uh well, the first thing that reminded me, because at the time I assumed it could have been maybe your grandma had passed, which is why you included it. And I thought of my dad, but then I thought of like my grandma would always, anytime she would call me and leave voicemail, it's like, Jason, this is your grandmother. And like that's how the intro would
Yeah.
work. And
Right.
it's kind of
Whenever
funny
Maggie
too.
hears that song, she's like, "This is your grandmother
And
speaking." It's like, that's how she says it.
it's kind of like the reason I thought it was a generation thing too, a little bit was um there's a team member on my at, at my where I work, and she's older, but every time she would like we could tell who it is. We do Teams calls as meetings, and
Mhm.
she would always introduce herself with her name every time she chimes in on a meeting. We're like, we know who you are. It's fine. It's
Right.
totally fine. But no,
Like when
it
people add the dash in a text message with their name.
yeah, like
Like, ah, got you in my
it's cool.
contact
I
list. I know who
gotcha.
this is from.
I gotcha. And then it did remind me because I have one of my last voicemails from my dad saved on my phone too. Um, that I don't like circling and listening to it every once in a while, but I have it on there, so that's why it just reminded me of
Mhm.
you having that there.
Yeah.
Um,
But I wanted to like include a lot of people that I care about on the album as well, as much as I could.
yeah.
My dad originally was gonna play trumpet on a handful of the tracks,
Oh,
but
no
he's got
way.
Parkinson's now, and he's gotten a little bit weaker with his breath and that sort of thing. So he wasn't able to play on the album. But in the background of that track is actually his band from when he was in college, and so that's playing in the background. And then I've got his dad, my grandpa. He's preaching in like the very last track cycle, and
That's
there's a
yeah.
couple of like little things like that I threw in there, just like that are sentimental to me.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about Cycle because that's my favorite one on there. And I listened to it.
Interesting, cool.
I just dig. I really dig the sound, obviously, but then I have to listen to it again now. Now I think about it, because I was just listening to the album this morning. Uh, but I think I might have stopped right before that one. But no, that one I really enjoyed. And then I was trying to think like, okay, what is that? Who's preaching in the background? And I kept listening. I'm like, I'm not gonna find out
Yep,
who this is. I'll just wait.
that's that's my papa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, do you have a favorite song of yours, like one that really stands out, or is there one that you get a lot of like I know you've played some shows with some of these tracks, so are there any songs that like are really hitting well live?
Yeah, it seems like the one that still resonates the most with people is Shadow.
Mm.
Um, because just like I feel like it's just an easy concept of light and dark, and you can't see the light things without the dark things in your life. And so a lot of people can relate to that, and it kind of gives you something to hold on to when you're going through something difficult, that
Yeah.
there's some purpose behind it. So I think that's like a really relatable concept for a lot of people, and it's an easier one to understand that I don't cover up too much in like weird phrases and stuff. Um, so Shadow's a good one for that. My personal favorite. What is the title of the last track?
I just had it pulled
Silence.
up. Silence is the last one, yeah.
Yeah, that one still feels kind of raw to me, and it was the last one that I wrote to kind of end the album, or the last one that I finished. Actually, I actually started writing it. When did I start that? 2019. I started that song, and then I finished it just recently before putting it on the album. So that one still is like a little bit of a soft spot for me, and I can connect to it still. So
How so?
probably my favorite. Um, well, I think that's like the whole during the entirety of the album is like I'm kind of wrestling with the concept of like, is there a God? What does that
Mhm.
look like? Um, like how deep is my belief and my faith in God and in Jesus, and like what does that whole picture look like? So I'm kind of like wrestling with those ideas throughout every single song that's been written,
Yeah.
so they all kind of have like this weird angst and confusion to each song, because that's how I felt, and but that song is supposed to be like a glimpse of clarity when uh I decide I found at one point like I do believe there's a God. I do believe there's a purpose. I do believe in Jesus. And so like that's kind of the shift of me looking forward,
Yeah.
so yeah, so it still feels like a tender soft spot in my heart, that song does.
I dig that one too. Kind of, I don't want to say, well, somewhat similar. I mean, I think it's interesting, and the episode that actually, the last episode that came out, was with my buddy Thomas, and we kind of dive into a little bit of like of his spiritual journey and stuff, and
Mm,
it's cool to see how people grow with their faith, and there's always, not always, but there's a lot of times where people will have that like kind of like questioning, which isn't a bad thing, but it's good to just be like, well, I feel like I feel different spiritually now than I did 5 years ago, let's say.
yeah.
But I have this similar clarity of like, yes, there's God, yes, there's Jesus, like that whole thing. But there's definitely been times where I'm kind of like wrestling more, and then I question why I'm wrestling, and then I'm like just stuck in like this
Right.
this like
Yeah.
limbo. And I don't know. Part of it, I think a huge thing is like for me, it's just surrounding myself with people that I feel I can trust, um, or like a community, or like a church, I guess you could say. Um, and then also like dealing with just life in general. So it's like there's just always times where I'm kind of like, all right, well, and you look at like humanity, or you look at how other people are, or other I guess like quote unquote Christians and whatnot. And you're like, well, I don't, you know, and of course it's always um uh they try to bring like politics into it and stuff. And I'm like, well, I don't really want to be associated with that political
Yeah,
side. So it's like
sure.
that needs to be separate. But no, I think that was another track of mine that really stood out, and I think it was a good to close on that because it does kind of it makes sense because you throughout the album you're wrestling and then you just like, hey, here's kind of where I'm at. Um,
Yeah.
that's pretty.
Yeah, and I
That's
think
pretty.
it's like it kind of points to like where I might want to move with music going forward.
Mhm.
Um, because I think moving forward, yeah, I've got a little bit better idea of just what I believe in stuff. So I'm not yeah, I don't have like any rock solid ideas on what I'm gonna do moving forward as far as concepts. But I think that like kind of points me in the direction that it could be heading.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And I really like just the elements that you included with this one. I mean, it does have the I don't even, what genre would you call this? Like indie pop rock, sort of.
Yeah, yeah, like indie rock, I
Yeah.
guess, which is like super broad, right? Like
Right.
indie rock
Yeah.
can be anything. Uh, but yeah, it's like melancholy rock, I guess,
Okay.
or
Hmm.
I don't know. There's like so many subgenres and stuff that I don't even know what to call it anymore, really. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it's like
it's
that
indie
in
rock,
all of
rock.
music where there's like here's metal, the metalcore, then submetalcore, and then it's like
Mm-hmm.
just I understand some of those elements are included here, but like nobody knows. Here's do you like it or not? You do? Cool. That's what genre it's
Yeah.
in. Like
Yeah, exactly. But it's so hard to like pitch it to radios and playlists and stuff like that because everything is like so niched and pared down. So it's hard to know exactly where to place it and who to pitch it to and that sort of
was
thing.
that how you pitched? Because Shadow was your first single, and then
Mm-hmm.
I think Spotify was wrestling with, or I don't know. I think you pitched it, and then you weren't really sure what radio
Yeah.
it would be on.
Yeah. And that one ended up doing well on like indie pop kind of playlists, which I was
Okay.
really surprised that like that's what it ended up being. It was more indie pop than rock.
Yeah.
But yeah, go
It,
figure.
it's out there.
Yeah.
It's out there. It's
Yeah, it
working.
happened.
So
Yeah.
that's cool, man. Yeah, I remember last time you were on, I shared your song, and I had a couple people that they reached. They're like, "Oh, like this seems like a cool guy. I'll listen to it." And like, there's been good feedback so far.
Cool.
Yeah, and that was last year. So I gotta follow up with some of those people and be like, "Hey, this new album dropped." Because I'll share it. I'll share when you got any updates and stuff. Because I'm super happy for you, and it's really exciting.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah, I'm
Um,
excited. It's gonna be fun. We got a couple of shows coming up in LA too, so it's gonna be fun to start playing out and
yeah.
all that stuff too.
How is living in LA? How's it going? Or the LA area?
It's been good. I mean, we're honestly, my wife and we're thinking about moving down south to Costa Mesa or at least like Orange County area.
Okay.
Kind of got like a solid community that we've built down there, so I think we're gonna move down to get a little bit closer. But we do live LA, and the decision to move to Orange County has been really hard to make just because we love the area that we live in so much and all that. But yeah, it's been good. We've been trying to soak it up a lot more recently, like go to a lot more shows out here and try to go into like West Hollywood and stuff and check out new restaurants and all that while we're up in this area.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, if you're in the area, you may as well try to take advantage of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
I could relate like when we lived near Broad Ripple, same thing. I want to take
Mm-hmm.
advantage to some of these restaurants, but
I
you have
know.
a little more broader area.
We've kind of just stopped too. We moved to the South Bay and it's like this little bubble down by the water. And so we just like we never leave the South Bay really. Like everything that we need is here. And so we've been like trying to force ourselves to like go out into some other neighborhoods and stuff and hang out.
Have you had any other run-ins with some like riffraff, I guess you could say? I think last time you were on, you said you had
I know, yeah.
someone was
No,
trying
dude,
to
it's like family town over here. It's like
really.
everything is yeah, everything's real quiet and chill. There's a ton of kids and families and stuff like that.
That's good.
So
That's good.
yeah.
It's a good area to be in.
So yeah, it's been good. And like the reason we moved here is because we wanted to have kids. And so we wanted to be in a place that's like,
Mhm.
good for that. So
Yeah. That's I can from my experience, that's a good thing.
Speaking
Uh,
of, yeah, I mean, congrats. How's dad life treating you?
it's pretty cool. He's crying right now in the background, but he's so we moved into this house last September. We're in Plainfield now, so we're about 35 minutes west of downtown,
Okay,
um,
yeah.
like near Avon, and everything is just it's just more quiet. It's more of like a family spot. Like our road is a dead end road, really, and most of the people on this road are retired, so it's just real quiet, and that's
Mm.
that like we like that. And the house is set up where there's like I'm in the front room, then there's a living room, and there's doors that kind of just separate everything. So we keep the dogs there, or um, she's on leave still. So uh, like while I'm working, she can go on that side and just shut the doors, and it's pretty
Nice.
nice. Like we're able to um to survive. But no, it's crazy, man. I think let's see, he's 2 months. But I just love it. Like just seeing him like just like the first time he'll smile a little bit or like giggle and laugh. His hair is so long still. Um, which is
That's
really
awesome.
cool. Um, but no, I love it. He's really cool. He's healthy. Like that's like the main thing you can ask for is a healthy baby.
Yeah,
So
that's so good.
yeah.
How
Sleeping
is
sleeping's been okay too. Um,
good.
he's had, I mean, normally I'd say throughout the night he'll average maybe like a 5 hour sleep and wake up, and then you just do like a change feed and then back to sleep. Some nights it'll be like 8 hours straight. And I'm like,
Mm.
let's do this.
What's
So
been like the most challenging thing so far with having a son?
having a son, I've been peed on like once. He's peed on himself like 3 times probably. And as far as like having a son, that part, otherwise not too much. I mean, he like my favorite thing to do is our bath time. So I'll get everything all set up, and I'll have some music. I have a little playlist I made for him. So I have some music on there that's like chiller, some like pop punk, but like the quieter kind.
Nice.
I'll probably
Your
add
lipstick is colored, don't
yeah.
bother it, Joe.
Yeah. I have I have some Noah Khan on there. I'm probably gonna add some from your album because there's a couple
Let's go.
that are yeah. I mean, why not? Um, but he's just like I just get him in the water and he just sits and just like looks up and like is tracking and looking around and he's just calm, cool, collected.
He's gonna
Um,
killer music taste growing
I
up.
I think so. Yeah. I'm like so
Darn young.
excited because I'll see those like TikToks or Instagram reels of parents walking by their kid's room and it's like when your child finally goes through that emo phase and you're like, oh yes. you know?
Dude, we
Um
went to the Haste the Day show. They came to LA.
they
So
came
we
out
got to
there?
see.
Oh, they
Yeah,
did.
so
They
it
did. Yeah,
was
yeah.
they hopped on the tour where that Emery and the Almost were on. So it was Emery
Hmm.
Almost and Haste the Day. It was like such a cool show.
Yeah.
But we went out to the observatory and saw them and got to catch up with Brennan
Yeah.
and Heather Chalk a little bit.
Yep.
But like it was all people like our age to like 40 and their kids. It's like a bunch of like 10-year-olds and stuff with like big headphones on, spiky hair. These kids that just like look seen. It's so funny.
Yeah, I'm real excited for that.
Just getting their kids into the culture. So
I'm
funny.
excited. I mean, his nursery is kind of set up that way. Like we have, it's kind of like Vans themed in a way. He's got like the black and white checkered rug. He's got black and white on the wall, and yeah, I'm stoked for him. His outfits are all cool and everything. So it's
Look,
been really cool. I mean, nothing too challenging really. He just adapt. Like each week, it gets a little bit different. So his sleep windows and wake windows are a little different. Um, he's growing. But for sure, like the biggest thing you want is like just a healthy, happy baby. And like I'm definitely blessed to to be in
yeah,
that position,
it's
So
amazing. Yeah,
yeah.
so good.
Um, so what else is new, man? So you're thinking of moving. Um, that's always a tough transition.
Yeah, that and then just like getting into the live show game and stuff. Been working on the set a little bit, and so that's been new. And I mean, just obviously going through like promoting the album and doing all the video content and photos and that kind of stuff for it that takes up a ton.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of singles that are going to be dropping probably in the next few months.
Okay.
Um, so starting all the just everything over again, video content and
Yeah.
finishing up mixing and mastering and all that kind of stuff for those. Um, but yeah, that's been like the main new stuff. I think moving is the big thing, which we're trying to get down to a new area and then kind of pick things up from there. Um,
Do you
but yeah,
have I guess I'm kind of circling back now, but you mentioned you want to kind of take advantage of some cool spots to check out. Do you have like a favorite restaurant spot in your area? Let's say if somebody is
yes.
is in the same area, like who's got the
Well,
spot?
like by us or like all of LA.
At least, but well, all of LA is probably a
This is a
loaded
ton.
one. Yeah,
Yeah.
we can do both. How
Well,
about
but
both?
one of our favorites right now is called Wurstkuch. I think that's how you
Okay.
say it. It's like a German sausage place. I'm actually going there tomorrow. Um, Ty Bush moved here. I don't. Did you know that he
I
moved
did. I
out
saw
here?
his I thought he had like a going away party at his house and he was just selling everything. I almost bought
Yeah.
his record player, but I think I missed out on it. So, but yeah,
Nice.
I saw he's down there too.
Well, we're going to a show tomorrow, but we're meeting at this place before we go to the show. But it's like this German sausage place, and they have all these crazy sausages. The last time I went there, I got like a it was rattlesnake and rabbit, I think is what it was, sausage. And it's so good. And they have all these German beers and stuff. It's really awesome. So that's my recommendation right now for like
Okay.
all of LA. We've been big on that one.
I'm not really sure where like rattlesnake and German go together, but I would definitely try it. I'm down.
Yeah, they
Um,
put a bunch of weird stuff in, all kinds of stuff. They're always
yeah.
switching it up.
I mean, German food is pretty much like a meat, a vegetable, or like sauerkraut, and
Oh yeah.
I feel like that's pretty much it. And beer.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
there's really nothing. It's heavy.
Have you been to Germany? I've never been.
No, but I mean, like I've been to what's the German place in downtown Indianapolis? The big
Ooh,
the
I
big
don't
German
know.
hall. I forgot what it's called now.
Oh, uh,
Raskeller. No, is that what it's called?
Reskeller's a concert hall, isn't it?
I think so.
I played there once with the band Real. You know them? Wait, but
What is
there's like a brewery or something attached to it, attached to the
so
Reskeller, right?
there is it is yeah, the Raskeller restaurant. So it's a big Bavarian style German food hall. Yeah, I've been there. And it's pretty good.
Okay,
They have a
nice. I don't think I've
huge
ever
beer
actually eaten there.
garden. I bet
Yeah,
that's where you played. You
it's like
played in
on
the
the
beer
roof
garden
or
with
something. No, we played on the
um
main stage. We were like in the big concert hall.
that makes sense. Main stage only, never an opener.
No, we were opening. We were opening for Buck Cherry.
Okay. So this was like not too long ago then, quite a while ago.
This is 2011,
Oof.
probably. Maybe a
Okay.
little late. I mean, yeah, maybe like 2012, 2013, somewhere around there. That was a while
Okay.
back.
Okay. Huh. Yeah, so that sounds pretty solid. Gosh, now I'm in the
But
mood for Raskeller. Or I'm in the mood for food. We're doing pizza tonight, so
ooh, we just got
yeah.
on this new kick. Maggie's been like all meat. We've been trying to get pregnant for a while. So we've like tried different diets and switching things up and stuff. So like we haven't been drinking at all. Well, a little bit, but not much this whole year.
Yeah.
Um, but we just got on this new like pretty much carnivore diet is basically
Yeah.
what we're doing. Um, so we're you doing grass raised and grass finished beefs and steaks,
What's
and
grass
that's like
finished?
so I guess with grass raised beef, or when it says like grass fed beef, it means that they like had access to grass, but like
Mhm.
they didn't necessarily have only grass. Like what during the end of their life, they could have fed them a bunch of corn or whatever to fatten them
Oh,
up
okay.
before they killed them.
Okay.
And when you have corn and stuff in their diet, it's bad for them. So they have to use antibiotics and stuff to keep them healthy. And so there's a lot of like weird stuff in those kinds of meat.
Yep.
So you want to have grass fed and grass finished so that grass is the only thing that ate its entire life. And then they didn't use antibiotics or anything like that. So you're getting the best
You get the
quality
best
meat that you can
quality.
possibly get. Yeah.
Mhm.
So we have a farmer's market that is here in town every Tuesday. So there's a farm that comes here and they sell the grass-fed, grass-finished beef. So I just got a couple of steaks and a couple of pounds of ground beef from them. So we've been doing that like entirely. So that's what we're doing tonight for dinner. It's like the grass-fed, grass-finished
Yeah, that
burgers.
sounds.
But it's so good. It's so good.
I feel like that's such a way of like hiding in like a marketing scheme because I'm a conspiracy. I'm not afraid. I love
Probably.
conspiracies.
It
I love
probably
them.
is.
But like if you were like people will be like, oh, this is grass fed. I'm like, okay, but to your point, what you just said makes more sense. Where it's like, yeah, they have the option to eat it, but like they could have still had
Yeah.
other things and then get shot with antibiotics because there's sometimes like you'll see grass fed antibiotic free. I mean, that's cool, but I feel like you're
Hmm.
getting the best quality at like a butcher shop or at a farmer's market.
Right.
Yeah.
When they have the same thing with like when they say like free range chickens, like the
Yep.
eggs, technically they can say that if the chickens have like at least 6 feet or something stupid like that. It's like not much of
Yeah.
room. So like you have all these chickens in a pen, it's like free range, but
Yeah. It's like a prisoner
is it
inmate, but I
actually?
still get an hour of outside time. So
Yeah.
no, you're still in jail. Like
Right. Yeah. So
you're
it's like,
okay. Um,
but it's so confusing now. Went to Whole Foods the other day, and just buying eggs is so complicated because there's like 30 different kinds of eggs of like different levels of like free range or hormone free or not injected with this or that. It's like just like so many different things. So
I'm trying to
I
talk
wish
my
food wasn't
wife
so.
into building a chicken coop and having chickens, but she doesn't want me to.
You got to do it. That's
My pet,
amazing.
like my family had them for years, and
Oh,
it's
for
like
real?
they're so minimal. Like you have a coop, have a little heating lamp, whatever, but you get eggs every single day.
Hmm.
I mean, you're the one handling everything, so it's not like you can mess. It's definitely range free or whatever the term would be, where they're not trapped anywhere. But I mean, they go
Yeah.
into their coop and have eggs, and they just walk around.
Right.
Um,
And you know, like what medications they're getting, if any, or
yeah, if
like,
any, yeah,
what they're being fed and all
yeah.
that kind of stuff.
Her thing is depends on the placement of the coop because we have the backyard with 3 dogs. So I would probably I don't know.
That's tricky. The dogs would they might
Dogs are
get
gonna
to him
know
before you
they're
do.
gonna know they're there. Like, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
it just depends. Unless I build the coop outside of the fence, which I'm gonna be building my garden bed outside of the fence too. So
Yeah. And then you gotta look
um
out for coyotes and that sort of stuff too.
yeah, there's
Raccoons or
actually
you know.
it's weird because I mean, yeah, we're in Plainfield, but like there's still like critters and coyotes and stuff out here. Like I'll hear them in the fall.
Oh yeah. We had
Um,
them in Westfield. I grew up in Westfield. We had coyotes out there and all that kind of stuff.
I freaked out the other day. I went to the gym. I turned on the outside light in our driveway. Or actually, no, I didn't. I just went outside and I unlocked my car and the lights came on, right? And I heard something like in the bushes, and I'm like, oh gosh, because I've been watching. Um, I watch like all different kinds of things, but like definitely like serial killer, like or like true crime things. So if I hear something like, whoa, I'm not okay
Oh,
right now.
I've got one
um,
for you to check out. So
which
good
one?
fish.
Oh no, I was gonna say, yeah, like there's definitely critters out there. So if I have the chicken coop out, I don't want a coyote getting into it. I don't know.
Yeah,
That's a
right.
ways down the line. Um, so what shows you mentioned you had a show for me? Which one is it?
Okay, so we just watched this one. Uh it's a Lifetime television original. What's it called? It's called Frogging. You ever heard of Frogging?
No, you had me
Okay,
at
so
Lifetime.
yeah, right. So when you a frogger, I guess, is a person that lives inside your home or goes inside of your home without you knowing about it. So it's all these stories of these people that have these randos
It's not
that
like
break
squatting. Thought it was
exactly. Yeah,
squatting. Okay.
but they call it frogging for some reason. They break into their house and they'll live in their attic or their basement or in the walls, whatever. And they'll be in there for like months sometimes and they'll mess with them. They'll like take their phone and they're like calling the home phone and stuff, or they're like stealing blankets or weird stuff like that. And it's
Oh,
just like freaking them out. And they think it's all happening in their head, like that they're going crazy or something. And then they find out that there's like this person that's been living in their house. It's been screwing with them for months. It's crazy. And there's like 30 of these stories. Maybe not, maybe 20 episodes, I think, something like that.
I just pulled it up here. So it is on Hulu. The
Yeah.
stranger than fiction true crime thriller explores the phenomenon of frogging, spelled PH, by the way, if
Yep.
anyone's curious.
PH.
People secretly living inside someone else's home. From the man in the attic to the creeper in the crawl space. Oh, we have a crawl space at this new house. I had to go into it to trace a circuit. Surprisingly clean. Um,
Nobody down there?
no, I
No
don't think
froggers?
so. No, but it's creepy because like you'll go and you're like at the foundation, and then have to like turn a corner and there's nothing, and then like I have my light, which my headlamp died when I was down there.
Great.
Yeah, this was pretty much
Good
set up
timing.
for yeah, I was set up to die. Um this show sounds interesting. I should add it because we've been watching so many shows with obviously the kid being here. Um
Hmm.
like we got Apple TV and we just went through like we watched Ted Lasso, incredible show. We watched The Morning Show, which is really good.
Yep. Did you watch
Shrink
Masters of the Sky?
no,
Shrinking's good.
not yet.
I like Shrinking.
Shrinking's really good.
Yep.
And then I think my favorite one though is probably Blackbird or
Blackbird's nuts. That
yeah.
one's so good.
Well,
Yeah.
dude, the freaking Paul Walter Hauser is such an underrated actor.
Yeah, he's so
He's
good.
so good.
He's scary. It's like
He's scary in there.
it's scary how good he is at that.
Yeah.
It's
And
crazy.
it's a true story. Um
Mm-hmm.
and it's such an interesting like concept of what he did because he was confessing to like every murder and they're just like this is all he does but he actually was doing it so they were just throwing it off and pretty twisted person. Spoiler alert, by the way, everyone. I just said the whole thing, but it's a really good
just
show.
just ruin the whole show for everybody.
No, it's really good. And then Severance, we watched Severance too. That one's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I'm hoping they do another season of that because they kind of left it
I
on a
saw
cliffhanger, didn't
I
they?
saw it get greenlit for another one.
Okay.
Um, I would hope
Apple's
so. Yeah.
killing it though. They have so many good shows on there.
Well, they keep coming out with more, man, and it's like,
Hmm.
um, it's one of those streaming services I feel like not a lot of people have or talk about unless like me having it, it sounds like you have it or have had it, but like I'll mention it to someone, they're
Hmm.
like, "Oh, I haven't watched that. I already have other things." Like, dude, there's some hidden gems. People are sleeping on some shows on there.
Yeah. We
Yeah,
ping pong quite a bit. Like I canceled our Apple, but then I just signed up for Max. So we'll watch some stuff and then cancel that and then go back to another one when there's a show on it. So
yeah, yeah. Max is
we have no allegiance.
yeah. I think actually that's a good way of putting it. I ping pong on some too. I mean, we're sharing some accounts. I won't say which ones, but we're sharing some accounts with some people. But we own some as well, so I think it balances out. But Max is good. I mean,
They started cracking down though, where you can't share on some accounts.
Netflix was the first one I think that really cracked down.
Yeah, Netflix and I think Hulu too.
I think Hulu. Um, yeah, which is like you're gonna crack down and raise your prices. Like that's interesting, but
Hmm.
whatever. We actually got a gift card to Netflix, so we're probably gonna sign up soon. But we've just been watching so much TV lately. I mean, while I'm working during the day, Kelsey's got her. I mean, she's with baby OJ. Um, his middle name is Joseph, so it's Oliver Joseph. So OJ, the
OJ,
juice, you
I
know.
love it.
Uh, yeah, he's
It's
gonna have
great.
some awesome Halloween costumes. But she watches Alone a lot. That's a survival show where someone's just dropped off in the woods and you could see
Wait,
how long you can survive for.
yes, I think we watched that too. Is it multiple people at the same time or just one at a time?
I think it's like 10 people get
Yeah.
dropped off.
Okay. Yeah,
And
we watched a season or maybe two of that. It was really
I,
good.
I think
It's
it's
crazy.
all on I don't know where it all is. It's a good one. That's probably one of my more favorite survival shows. Because it's seems a little more like authentic. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
them and they have their standalone camera, which let me ask you this. What type of camera battery do you think they're using or how are they charging them? Solar? Because there's people who stay out there for like 60 days by themselves.
Yeah. They they probably have people run equipment out to them and stuff from time
Yeah,
to time.
I would
I
think
think
so.
like shows are usually a lot more produced than people think that they actually are.
Yeah.
So I'd be surprised if they have zero contact with anybody involved in production.
I mean, they have checkups. They have like medical checkups. So like they do have
Yeah.
people come and take a look
So
at them.
they
So they probably swap
yeah,
batteries.
I'd assume yeah, I guess it just depends on what camera they're using, but that'd be a ton of batteries to carry and stuff. But they're probably Sony NPS usually last quite a long time. So if there's something that uses that,
Okay.
some sort of Sony battery, Sony camera, then that's probably what they would use.
Well, that was the thing with that other survival show with Les Stroud in Survivor Man, where I mean, he's only there for probably like 3 or 4 days, but he has his own cameras, but he's having
Yeah.
to haul the batteries. He's having to like, I don't know who does the editing, but like he'll walk out, set a camera up, walk back, and then he'll like, it'll show him walking with it.
Yeah.
So it's like
He's
all this
like the
extra
original
stuff.
vlogger. He was doing that
Yeah.
before YouTube was the thing, right?
Yeah.
Like filming himself out there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
funny.
Now I think he's like hunting Bigfoot somewhere, which
Oh, he got into that game. Is he on
I,
History Channel?
I don't know. I always find it comical. Like I would love to
They
go
never
out
find
with
him in those shows.
no weird.
They never
But
do.
they
They
just
never find
keep.
him. They never find the aliens.
And how do those shows get greenlit for another season? It's like, hey, you're 0 for 7 right now. Like
There's an audience for it, man. People love it.
it's
But
probably
every
me.
single episode, they're like, next episode's it. We're definitely gonna find him. And then
Yeah,
they don't.
and they don't. But it's probably me. I'm the problem because I'll watch not everyone, but I'll watch some, and I'm like, these people are so stupid. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah,
Um,
honestly.
oh, man. But I will say, looking forward to whenever you and Maggie are at that chapter in your life. Um, there's going to be a lot of TV, but
Yeah.
it has to be like
Well,
quick things that like you could pause, play, you know.
yeah. We're gonna be
Um,
watching a lot of Disney Channel probably. Baby
yeah,
Einstein, all
maybe
that stuff.
Einstein. I know I'm prepping for that because he can't. So I didn't. I mean, I didn't know this until well, I have a child, but it's really not until they're about a full year that they can see like crisp. Like they could see like
Oh,
just a
really?
little bit out each month. Their vision gets a little bit better and like further out. Um, but I'm already prepping for like Bluey and
Oh, yeah.
all of those like kid shows and stuff. And I'm really excited for I'm sure like every parent is, but like just really excited for the part where like, hey, this is a show called Tombstone. We're gonna watch it together. Like when they're older, obviously, but like, you know, having experiencing their first um like piece of bacon or like their
Yeah.
first trip to, you know, somewhere, you know, or like a camping trip or something. That's something I'm really excited for.
We just went to Disneyland yesterday with my brother and his two boys,
Okay.
and sister-in-law. And that was really fun because they hadn't been to Disneyland before. So it's cool to like, take them through. They get to see Mickey and ride on the rides and all that kind of stuff. It's a fun thing.
Why do I forget that there's one out there? Because I'm only thinking of Florida. Or is Disney World Florida?
Disney World's Florida. Yeah, the original one's here in California.
Okay.
The one that Walt built is here.
Big Walt.
Hmm.
Okay. Yeah, we ended up getting a zoo membership actually here. So
The
it's
Indianapolis Zoo is no joke.
it's pretty dope. They have this new exhibit coming out for like chimpanzees where it's like these skywalk like
No way.
cages. And it just goes over the whole all around the zoo. It's like they'll just be
Yeah.
up in like these tunnels and like towers and stuff,
I remember
just throwing poop on everyone.
the orangutan one's unbelievable because it's like the same kind of concept. They're walking around or swinging around your head and stuff.
Yeah, so when we went, I don't think that part was open yet for the season. But
Oh,
then
okay.
I did see like an orangutan like climbing up one of the it's like a tower. Or it
Yeah,
almost looks like rafters.
they've got like 5 or 6 of those towers and then they're all connected. And so they're
Yep.
like crawling around over your head. It's insane.
It's insane. I
It's
can
so
only
cool.
think of what?
Feel like
Sorry.
I've said I've never seen anything like that with
Oh yeah.
like just having the monkeys out there in the open.
Well, like I'm only thinking of Planet of the Apes, man.
Yeah.
Like that's all I can think of. Um, anytime I see that. Just man, if something went down, I have this weird feeling that like if shit really went down, they could get out. Like if they really wanted to, maybe.
Probably.
I don't know.
What would they do? I don't think they could actually do any damage, really.
Oh,
You know?
dude, I
I
probably
don't know.
won't hear about it until like I'm scrolling on Twitter or something, and I just see like just a crowd of chimpanzees overtaking downtown Indianapolis. Or I'll be bartending downtown when that happens. That's what'll happen.
They have to really plan something out. They'd have to get the monkeys from the other zoos to all go at the same
Telepathically
time.
or sign language.
Mm,
They have to do
yeah,
something.
texting.
I'm here for it. I don't know.
I mean, it'd be fun to watch for sure.
It'd be fun to watch, not be a part of, kind of like drama, like I'll watch it, but I don't want to be involved in it.
Yeah.
No, it's not healthy enough for me,
Did you
you
see the
know?
thing with the ship that hit the bridge
Yeah.
recently? I
Yeah,
just saw
dude.
it this morning. I like the power went out on the ship or something.
So I got my tinfoil hat on this one. So
Okay, let's go.
there's a clip of the ship loses power, and then
Hmm.
like a couple minutes later the power comes back on, and then or it's restored, and then it loses it again, and then it hits the bridge. Or no,
Mm.
it shuts off and on twice. So when it turns back on for the second time, then it hits the bridge. And
So they so
people
they
are
had
thinking,
power when they hit the bridge.
yeah,
It's like they could have done something, you think?
but it might have been too late. So they had power off, power back on, and then it hit the bridge. So it's like people are thinking that it was like hacked, like some cyber attack or something was hacked from
Mm.
somewhere. There's another video from one angle where it shows like multiple parts of the bridge, like explosions all go off at the same time when the boat hits.
No
Which,
way.
yeah,
Really?
well, it's like, okay, maybe, or the impact was it's a cargo ship. Like the impact could have
Yeah.
been so hard that just all like the weakest parts just snapped.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I'm waiting for like a documentary to come out on it.
Well, what? Yeah, like someone they want to collect insurance money on it or something, or what? Like, what's
How
the end
big,
game here?
how big was that bridge? Because it's Baltimore, right? I
Yeah,
thought it was
Maryland. Yeah, right.
Baltimore
It looked
Bridge.
big though, but were there casualties from it? Did people die?
I heard they're missing 6 or 7 people, but
Well, see, that's weird too, just missing.
I mean, if that whole thing comes down,
Because it,
like, I don't know, dude.
I wonder if they sent out scuba divers and stuff to, search the rivers and stuff.
Yeah, Francis Scott Key Bridge is 1.6 miles long. It's a long bridge.
That is 1.6 miles. That's crazy.
There was this
That's
bridge.
huge.
I remember I was on a mission trip somewhere. Was it Mississippi? Yeah, it must have been Mississippi. And
Yeah,
I remember
I've been on that
crossing.
bridge.
Yeah,
I think I
there's
know what you're talking
nothing
about.
around. Like
Yeah,
there's nothing.
yeah, it's insane though. It's huge.
How God, what bridge is that? Because um
Yeah, I was like probably 12 years old when I went over it. It's been a long time.
there's way too many bridges. There's one that's 12 now. I
Did you try
that's
bridges.com? If you just go there,
is that a thing? It
bridge,
should be.
I don't know. Bridge source.
Um yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't hopefully everyone's okay with this bridge, but yeah, that's what I saw when I looked at it. I was like, this is an interesting that and then like P. Diddy getting arrested or whatever, like all happening on the same day.
See
Um
that I only heard something briefly about it, and then somebody said it has some sort of tie to TD Jakes or something like that. You know who that is?
who's
He's
TD
a
Jakes?
he's a pastor. He's got a mega church in Texas, and I don't want to fuel the flame because I don't know anything about it.
Oh, TD Jakes, I know who that is.
Yeah, but like I don't think he has anything to do with it. But somebody's mentioned that, and so I don't know what's going on.
Like I said, I'll watch the drama. I don't want to be a part of it.
Yeah, right.
Like there's too much
Yeah,
negativity and it's not healthy. um
yeah.
Kind of the same for like I mean that's why I watch like trashy reality TV sometimes like 90 Day Fiance. I think it's ridiculously hilarious, but like it doesn't really make me smarter at all. If like just watching these people and it's or any of those Netflix like love
That's
reality shows, it's just comical. It's all comical.
that's me with Impractical Jokers.
Yeah, but that's
There's
good.
there's no value it's putting into my life, but it makes me laugh a lot. So
Joy, it brings joy.
that it
Yeah.
does, man. It's so stupid. It's so funny.
Did you ever think that like it would get to a point with Impractical Jokers where like everyone knows who they are because they're so big that like when
You'd
you're
think it
out at a
would,
grocery
right?
store, yeah, like you think
Yeah,
like
especially in New
oh
York. Yeah, but
yeah,
I
like
think
there's
like
Q or whatever.
maybe the fan base for them is like so niche that like your everyday people don't see it that often. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, good
I
point.
don't know.
What's funny is I made a joke. I think I was with it was when we were in Colorado actually with I have to get used to saying my in-laws instead of like saying Kelsey's family. But like we were in Colorado and I'm like, just turn the TV on. I know Impractical Jokers is on somewhere. Like every time I'm in a hotel, I could just
Oh
scroll and
yeah, you
it's
can.
always on
Yeah,
all the time. That's a good show though. That's a good one to like binge and have on in the background. And it just doesn't
yeah,
really get
it's so
old
good.
either. So
I feel like yeah, every couple of years I'll like just binge it all, like catch up with the most recent season and then watch all the old ones. It's so good.
um are you still doing anything as far as like video editing or photography? Is that kind of
Yeah, I mean
that's still
that's
your main hustle?
yeah, that's how we're making money. So that's the main thing. I've been doing a lot with a studio out of Hawthorne here. It's been like probably half of my work is through them.
Okay.
So I got to do a cool edit recently for Nissan Cup of Noodles, and it had Craig Robbins from The Office in
Oh
it. So it
yeah.
was kind of fun. Guy
Yeah.
played Daryl.
Yeah.
So he was in that one. That was fun. And then did a project for Pepsi and a couple other fun stuff. But yeah, shooting a lot of events and traveling around a little bit and that sort of thing. But yeah.
So on like a studio set or anything like that, like how many moving parts are behind the scenes that people aren't really aware of? I feel like sometimes you'll watch something and it'll like pan back and you'll see just hundreds of
Mm-hmm.
people.
So it's different. The stuff with that studio specifically, it's like pretty small sets, for the most part. So we do some commercial stuff through that studio as well, where it'll be like, could easily be 50 to 100 people on set
Okay.
at a time. But especially now with like technology and stuff, there's like camera crews can be a lot smaller than they used to be, and um, lighting crews can be a lot smaller and all that kind of stuff. So it's changed quite a bit.
Okay.
But there's still like big productions have a ton of people and that sort of thing. So there's a lot of stuff, a lot of different producers and people running to get errands. There's like a ton of different teams that have handfuls of different people moving parts.
Um, have you seen Quiet on Set yet?
Yes. Yeah, we did watch that. Just destroyed my childhood
Yeah.
in like an hour.
Um,
Man, it's so sad. It's
it's
I love that. I was just talking to Maggie about this. I love how easy and more accessible it is for uh, like common people to like put documentaries together and get them out. There's like so many places to like put documentaries out and stuff. And obviously it was on HBO, but
yeah,
or
it was
whatever.
Max.
But
Hmm.
yeah, but there's so many different outlets and like it's so much easier to like call people out on stuff now, which is like it can be abused obviously, but I think it's like so much better for like kids now that are in the acting industry are going to be looked out for a little bit better because this kind of stuff has come out. So
And honestly, I mean, like that is the benefit of it. I mean, it exposes the dark sides, but then also it does have that accountability of kids being protected more. And that's kind of a lot. I think that's with a lot of those dark docu-series or documentaries and whatnot. I wouldn't have expected. I mean, anytime one comes out, I rarely expect it coming, but like this one was, um, it's weird watching like because we're at that age now where when these happen, you can be like, oh, I remember. I remember that show. I remember when this would happen, or I remember
Yeah.
this. I'm like, oh, that's what was going on. Okay, because you didn't. I mean, as a kid, you wouldn't catch some of those like innuendos um
Right.
that were being filmed and created and whatnot. And you're like,
Yeah.
oh, this is
Right.
whatever. And looking back at it now, you're like, this was pretty bad.
Yeah. It's like, oh, it's actually kind of messed up.
It's pretty messed up coming from a
Yeah.
grown man having underage children do some of these things.
Yeah. It's insane.
It's pretty messed up. Um, yeah.
But it's cool that there's just like there's an awareness of it, and stuff's everything always comes to light eventually, so
Hmm.
it's good.
That is always a good thing.
Yeah. Did you see Honey Boy, the one that Shia LaBeouf did?
Is it
This
is it the one?
it was a drama, and I guess somebody told me it was like a little exaggerated or something apparently, but it's a similar thing. So Shia LaBeouf was in Even Stevens and a bunch of Disney Channel stuff, and so he had some issues with his dad and things like that growing up, like in the industry that were happening behind the scenes. So that movie kind of talks about all that stuff. So Shia LaBeouf plays his dad, and then there's a kid that plays Shia LaBeouf as a child.
I like Shia LaBeouf.
Me too.
I
Yeah,
think,
I
I
love
mean, as
him.
a person, as an actor too, because it's like that weird balance of like, oh, he's a really good actor, but like you don't really know too many people of like from a person standpoint. I've listened to him on some podcasts and stuff like that. He just seems like a pretty real, raw, transparent person.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, I think so too. Seems
So
like it.
yeah, no, I haven't watched that. There's like quite a few things we have like in our queue, and I think I don't even know what's next on our list of things to watch. Like I said, we've been just going so hard on Apple TV because we got like I think I signed up in January, and I signed up with a purpose. I had to watch Killers of the Flower Moon because I was
Oh
recording
yeah,
with my
yeah.
buddy about Oscar talk, and he's like, "Hey, we got to talk about this." And I didn't see it because so it came out like some of those movies like that came out in like November to like December and like leading up to the baby. Like we had family in town, we had the holidays, we were getting the house settled and ready in the baby shower. So I missed
Mm-hmm.
out on a lot of those. Like we saw the Iron Claw, incredible movie. I cried like 7 times.
Yep.
Um, but Killers of the Flower Moon we didn't see, and I saw it was on Apple TV. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna get Apple TV. Uh, and we didn't have the baby at that time. Um, or wait, did we? I don't remember now. We may have. But I remember watching it and it was just on a Sunday and it was what is like 3.5 hours or something like that, maybe. Didn't feel like it.
At least I think we
Yeah.
finished it in 2 sittings. Yeah, it took us
Yeah,
a little bit to get through it.
I had to pause and like do so. It probably took us like a total of like 7 hours to watch it because I had to
Yeah,
like pause
fair.
and then get dinner and then pause and dishes
Yeah.
and make sure my wife stays alive and everything. Um, but
That
no, like
movie's insane though.
it was pretty nuts. I don't
Yeah.
think it won any Oscars, which is so interesting.
I only caught the
Um,
tail end of the Oscars, so I didn't actually see if they got anything for it. Didn't win anything? That's crazy.
no, they got nominated for like 10 or 12 things. They didn't win anything.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Um, which is interesting. I don't even remember who won what now. I can't even think about that. But no, it was very good. I mean, I'll always watch something with Leo, and especially if he's teamed up with Scorsese. Like, yeah, sign me up.
Yeah.
I'm ready for 3.5 hours of my day to just be stuck on a TV.
I like the like just anything with like a Western kind of vibe to it. I always like that
Mm,
kind of stuff too.
I
Like
do
True
too.
Grit. True Grit's
True
like the
Grit.
remake of True Grit's like one of my favorite movies. I think it's so good.
I always like the color schemes inside of some of the scenes there. Like
Mm-hmm.
some of the things that are kind of overlooked, but it's just like, oh, I really like this the way these patterns are like lined up with the clothing, with the backdrop, with the sand and the desert and the horses and like all those elements. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and if it's done really well, like you really feel like you're like in the saloon with them.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
So good.
dang. And I don't, I mean, I don't think I can't think of too many like I'm not a big Western guy, but like some of the ones that I'll end up watching, I definitely enjoy them. Clearly that one being one, of course. So
Yeah, it's like it's rare when you get a modern day one when they're like when they like make one nowadays, you know.
yeah,
I
that is
don't
true.
I haven't seen a lot of old ones though, really.
I can only think of Tombstone and Back to the Future 3.
Tombstone.
It's
Yeah. Yeah,
a
that
Western,
definitely
man.
counts
It's a
for
Western,
sure.
sort of. Um,
Those are so good.
so what's the music scene like out there? I mean, with the communities you guys are plugged into. I know you said Ty Bush was out there. You guys are gonna go check out some shows together.
Mm-hmm. It's cool. I mean, here where we live in the South Bay, there's not like a great music scene. But Orange County has a really good music scene that uh just like a lot of active artists and that sort of thing. So it's been really cool to check out new people and stuff there.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, we're like just starting to play out shows and that sort of thing and like get plugged into the scene. So it's kind of a new thing. But there was something when we first moved to LA. We went to something called School Night, uh, pretty much every single week. It's like a free show that happens in Hollywood on Tuesday nights, and they
Pretty
have
sweet.
like new indie artists. Yeah, you just RSVP to this thing. It's free. You go in, they've got food and drinks and whatever, and it's like just such a blast. And it's a ton of young musicians and people kind of getting going and that sort of thing. But it's just like a cool environment. So we went to that all the time. That was like the best thing. But now,
That's a pretty cool concept.
yeah,
Um,
it's really fun.
yeah, a little different than the scene out here in Indianapolis. I mean, I mean, it depends on like what genre you're interested in, but like I mean, we enjoy going to hi-fi.
Yeah,
Hi-fi
Hi-Fi is awesome.
Annex. The Annex setup is pretty dope. We've seen Ty there a couple times. Um, or was it just once? I don't remember now. I mean, recently, like the most
So
recent
that was
time.
something they set up during 2020, and then they just kept it. Is that
I think so, because it's in the back parking lot. Or it's not
okay?
it looks like a parking lot, but it's gated off. You have the big stage and then the vendors and stuff in the bathrooms will be around it.
So they still do shows inside too?
Yeah, we went to Kelsey and I went to a show in November. He's one of my favorite artists actually. His name's Petey, like Petey USA, I guess. Is kind of his name if you look for him on
Wait,
Spotify. He's a
yeah. The
TikTok
guy with
guy.
really long, the guy with really long hair.
He is I listen,
He's so funny.
he's so funny. It was without a doubt one of the most fun shows I've ever been to. Cause he's like fun, like all of his songs are pretty you could pretty much sing along to him. It's like a good vibe
What's
type of place.
something the boys? What's his big song? Some
Don't
of the boys.
yeah, don't tell the boys.
Don't tell the boys.
So
Yeah,
he closed
it's so
that. He
good.
closes with that. But it's
Nice.
such a fun show. I think he's out in I want to say he's out in LA. I mean, so many content creators are out there.
Oh,
So
okay,
it's
cool.
like,
I don't know. I
um
thought he was from like
he's
Colorado or something like that.
he looks like it, but I mean, he's always rocking like Chicago Bears or some type of
Okay,
Chicago thing.
cool.
Um,
Midwest guy, maybe.
but in most of his TikToks, like I don't think there's any palm trees in the Midwest. So like he's probably
It's a safe statement.
it's a safe yeah. I'm just gonna guess. Unless you're trying to grow one. No, but he's probably one of our more favorite artists. But we've seen him at Hi-Fi. And then is
Nice.
there lo-fi as well? Is there like another stage or
I don't
something?
know. I don't know. I don't remember there being one when I was there, but there
Okay.
could be now.
Mm,
We're going to go see Devin tomorrow. Have you ever listened to Devin
mm-mm.
or Wild Rivers? Do you know the band Wild Rivers?
What genre?
So Wild Rivers is like country, like pop country kind of with
Okay.
like more bluegrass kind of roots or like folk. I don't know. It's like in that kind of vein, but they're so insane, so good. So we went to go see them at the White Rabbit in Broad. Is that Broadwell or Fountain Square? The White Rabbit there. We saw them
Heard of that.
there. We saw Wild Rivers there like 7 or 8 years ago, and she started her own solo project called Devin. It's just her name.
Okay.
It's like pop kind of stuff basically, but she's just like insane. So we're gonna go see her tomorrow.
Cool. I got them pulled up right here. That's the thing, dude. It's probably like similar to Nashville, where like there's probably always like there's probably always good shows going on in your area compared to like here. Like I would go.
Hmm.
I think one of the last times I went to Nashville actually was with my buddy Tristan, and we went to I think it was like the August Burns Red Devil Wears Prada show because it was a reunion. It was like a 20-year reunion, and I was like, all right, let's go, you know. Um, and I think it was on a Wednesday, and we drove down on a Tuesday, got an Airbnb, and it was just like this small venue next
Hmm.
to where we went to go eat, and it was like, hey, local artist so and so, so and so, and then like it'd be some gosh, who's that big country star, female country star? I
Uh,
can't think of it. Anyways, it's pretty much like it's just funny because like if you relate it to here, um here's some local artist that's not everyone's heard of, and then oh, here's
right.
two-time
Right.
Grammy nominated on a Tuesday at 5.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But I feel like if any artist like starts to get kind of big in Indianapolis, they're gonna move to Chicago or they're gonna move to Nashville or LA, but like we've got a couple of cities that are close by that like they'll base out of those cities, to meet the
Yeah.
scene a little bit better. So it's kind of tricky to like keep artists in towns like Indianapolis when
Well, you
there's other
kind of
ones
gotta,
nearby.
yeah, and you gotta go where like you're gonna grow, and that's
Yeah.
similar in your guys' situation. I remember when we
Yeah.
talked right before you moved, it was like, I mean, it makes sense for you guys to go out there because you've kind of like plateaued here
Yeah.
in a way of like, what's like my next opportunity and everything, you know?
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, Sick. So when you're playing live shows, because you do pretty much all of the songwriting, all of the instrumental, as far as recording goes. So you have
Yeah.
your own, I'm assuming you have your own crew on stage.
Hmm. Yep. And it's there's not like a set band necessarily, so it's kind of like piecing together guys that I know from show to show.
Hmm.
I think eventually it probably will turn into like a solid band once I kind of like find the right guys that fit in the right pieces and stuff or in the right places. But yeah, for now it's just like a solo act, and then I've got buddies that'll fill in.
Nice.
But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I love it. It's been
That's
cool to
awesome.
get back into doing that sort of thing because I hadn't played live shows in that context since college. So it's been
Hmm.
a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, man. That's exciting for you. I'm stoked. I'm stoked. I hope I can make it out there soon. I know I've been saying that for a couple years, but
Yes, it'd be so good.
yeah,
Well, I want to do some like indie shows too. It'd be fun to like come do a Midwest run or something.
yeah. I'll be there. I'll be your merch guy. You
Let's
know,
go.
that's what I tell some of my best friends. They actually had their first show a couple weeks ago, and I was in a band with one of them before, but I've known him for years. And I'm like, hey, dude, whenever you guys tour, I'll be your merch guy.
Let's
I'll jump
go.
on stage every once in a while, but no, that's exciting, man.
Sorry, what's that?
So okay, with the album out, you got singles coming out. Um, I guess for everyone out there listening, why should people listen to Nolly? And why should people listen to this album? Or why shouldn't people
You shouldn't. Don't listen to it.
listen to it?
You probably wouldn't like it. No, it's just an easygoing album, and I think it's got some interesting ideas that it goes over. So it's uh I don't know if I feel like there's some co-suffering that happens in the album, honestly. So like if you need someone to suffer with, it's a good album to listen to.
Yeah. It's a happy
uh
sad, or it's a sad
yeah.
happy, one of the two.
Yeah.
It's emo,
Yeah.
you know? It's
It kind of is, but I don't know. It's a good one though. But I think for people that like a Copeland, a May, an Isley, and that kind
Ooh,
of vibe of music, if you're looking for more sounds like that, then this could be a good this could be a good outlet for you.
awesome. All right, album is out on all streaming services.
Yep.
Correct? I would assume Apple,
Yep.
Spotify.
Everywhere you can find music, YouTube, Amazon, Spotify, iTunes.
Cool.
It's there.
Tyler Sapp.
Cool. Love you, bro.
Cool. Love you too, man. All right. See ya.
Peace.